The 15th race of the AARO Racing Series 2015 season would be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the BB&T 250. AAA pole this week is going to go to Kenny Gerald's in the number 14. He's been qualifying very well lately, and he places his number 14 on the pole this week. Nate Smith started to the outside. Todd Kins in third, Casey Lester fourth, and Herb Cilantro rounded out our top five as they go down into turn number one. Looks like the inside line obviously has the preferred groove going through the first couple of corners, and Kenny Gerald's will hold the lead down the back straightaway. And he'll take Todd Kinsen and Herb Cilantro with him. Lap number one, we have a four-wide situation, and Jack Walter goes around, and he gets turned by Ross Lowry, and Todd Bradshaw just takes a massive hit into that outside wall. I'm not sure who he got turned by. Let's take another replay. See, the 91 actually saves the car, and Bradshaw just gets hooked by Brad Curtis and into the outside wall. Very hard goes the 98, and he will obviously retire one lap in to the BB&T 250. Let's go on board with him as he's going to just get completely turned by Curtis, slide down the front straightaway, and come to rest and retire on lap number one. We had another wreck coming to the yellow flag, though. Mac DeCario gets hooked by Justin Pisani, and in the outside wall they go. DeCario second in the point standings. This is going to take a huge hit for him. Brian Hensler also gets involved in number 10, so two of the silver green car is already done on lap one, but DeCario, Lester, and Pisani are going to get the worst of this one. DeCario will be the only one to retire. I believe Hensler would as well, actually. And the 96 comes to rest on the front stretch, makes it around, and pulls into the garage. Lap number 7. The green flag flies on the restart. Tyler Deefer looks to the inside of the 82 of Todd Kinsen. Michael Carter going for third. Carter, last week's winner at Bristol, and our current point leader as he tries to get around Deefer now for the second position. And he's been running very well as of late, obviously, and got his first win with JN Motorsports at the Bristol Motor Speedway. So he's riding a surge of momentum here, and he's trying to keep his points lead, as shouldn't be too hard as Mac DeCario wrecks on lap number 1. Casey Lester is way off the pace after being involved in that wreck. He started fourth, remember, and early on this race has just gone downhill for him. It's been a theme for him this season, but we'll see if he can manage a good finish out of this one. Still running in that number 87, albeit very slow. The 39 of Michael Carter has taken the lead away from Kenny Gerald's. Not good for the rest of the field, especially the guys who want to catch him in the point standings. But Michael Carter currently leading down into turn number 1, just 10 laps in. Mick Black has fought his way up to second in that number 38. Here's Emma Trout in the 3. Hasn't made a race in quite a long time. For that Leggy Motorsports operation that's shutting down at the end of the year, so they're obviously looking to have some good runs to close out their team's history here in the AARS. Hasn't done really that much as a team, but Trout currently running in the top 20, so that's great to see, as well as Sarah Woods in the 33, who's actually running in the top 10 right now. So great day so far for Leggy Motorsports, looking to end their AARS career on a high note. Jack Walter was the winner here last season. We saw him get turned on lap number 1, but he is running in the back. Has a little bit of side damage, but should be all right. And that car looks like it can still contend for the win. We do know that he brought the same exact car that he won with last year here, so we'll see how that fares for him the rest of the day if he can work his way up there. As we have another caution on lap number 16 as Jalen Scranton got turned to the outside wall in the same spot as the other two wrecks. Kent Grosso involved, as well as Brad Simmons and Keith Davis. Tough break for Jalen Scranton. That just was a racing accident. Too many lap cars and too many space. And that is the end of it. As yeah, it's not good for Scranton, Simmons, and whoever else was involved. I believe Keith Davis, but he was a lap down. Nate Smith may have got a piece of this as well in the 83. Yes, he does. Just an unfortunate wreck in the same exact spot. That's becoming a theme so far in this one, and we'll see if any more wrecks transpire there. But Jalen Scranton, see him right there, he would come into the garage area and retire. The rest of the field, though, the entire of the rest of the field would come into the pits and come in for 4 fresh tires and some fuel. As you see the guys all coming in and out of their pit stalls. Tim Averill takes 2 tires and actually gets out in the lead in that number 75. He's been pretty anonymous this season, but he's been quiet but running well, and it's good to see him out front for the time being. We'll see if he can hold it, but on lap 21, not looking very likely, especially with those 2 tires. Keith Davis is on the tail end of the lead lap after wrecking in that last caution, and he would hold up Michael Carter actually in the 39, allowing AARO to get a huge lead in the middle of 1 and 2. And the Stanley Tools Volkswagen will cruise out to a 2-second lead before Carter gets around the 88, and the rest of the field follows. The 88 would continue to hold up the top line, though. Will Legge, Jonathan Ringer, and Jerry Richardson all trapped up there, as these guys would just continue to try to get around the 88. Not much luck, though, so far. Jack Walter's going to get involved in another wreck. He gets turned by Jared Cash, and Herb Cilantro gets involved as well. Cilantro gets the least of this one. He slides up into the outside wall. Very minimal damage on that number 42, but the 91 and 09 definitely got the worst of it. Jared Cash having some problems, which is becoming a theme for him as of late. And Jack Walter in the 91, his second wreck of the day. Unable to save it this time, but yeah, that was that for him. Herb Cilantro gets turned as well, and he barely touches the outside wall, and he will be all right for the rest of this one as he continues on in his number 42. The field, well, half the field would come into the pits under this caution period for service. We see Tim AARO leading Michael Carter, Grant Jacobs, Todd Kinsen, and Will Legge, among others, into the pits, and this would leave Alex Jates in the 1 in the lead on lap 28. He's got his teammate and team owner Kenny Geralds right behind him in second, and Jonathan Ringer, who won here last year. I think I made a mistake in saying Jack Walter won here earlier, but Jack Walter actually finished second. Still great, but Jonathan Ringer was the past winner here at Charlotte. The 47 of Torrey Webler restarted fourth, and he was already up to second. Very nice run for him. Definitely a surprise so far, as he's way back there in points, and he joined midway through the season first off, and it's great to see cars like that having a nice run. Lap 34, Tyler Diefer, two-time winner this season, is going to look underneath Alex Jates for the lead. That's two Fords battling for the top position. Jeff Parshall with a great run in third, now looking for second underneath Jates. But Diefer and his AutoZone Ford for Renesee Racing will take the lead and cruise on as these two battle for second, Parshall and Jates. And down into turn 1. Looks like Parshall's going to get the spot. Sean Glossum following as well. He's going to look underneath Jates for the second position. For the third position, Sean Glossum hasn't won since Boston, and definitely looking to get his season on more of a right track, as he's been pretty anonymous the last couple of weeks. Alex Jates is going to go from third to first here as a couple lap cars. Casey Lester and Kent Grosso both get in the way of Tyler Diefer and Sean Glossum at the top of the field. Jeff Parshall is slid back just a tad. As you see, by the time the 20 gets around his teammate Casey Lester, the 1's already right there, and he will look underneath the 20 in the middle of 3 and 4, get side by side with him off the corner, and the 1 of Alex Jates will take the lead back from Tyler Diefer. Still at the very early stages of this one, so we'll see if Jates has anything left in the tank here for the end of this one. Tyler Diefer is going to get caught up in a mess here as Jonathan Ringer turns in on lap 46. The red flag is thrown out immediately as Josh Mertz plows into him. Jerry Richardson plows into Mertz. We have a huge wreck on the front straightaway. Many cars flipping. Lots of hard hits. We'll take another view at this one so you can get the whole scope. Diefer just gets hooked by Ringer and Walter. And you see mayhem just ensues after that. Mertz hits them. Richardson plows into Mertz. And then Bethany Baltano is flipping down there. Jeff Parshall gets hit a couple times. There's the 48 on his roof. I see Grant Jacobs in there. Todd Kinsen may have got a piece of that. And they are still plowing in there. Nate Smith plows into Grant Jacobs. Just a massive wreck on the front straightaway. Absolute chaos. As we're going to take a look at Jeff Parshall here. He gets turned by point leader Michael Carter into the outside wall. And boom. There's a bunch of hard hits coming their way now. So he gets plowed into by Cilantro. Oh, man. Lots of heavy hits there. Take a look at Josh Mertz. He got the first hard hit of this one. Right there, Jerry Richardson just slams into him. Sean Glossum sliding through the infield. There's Baltano going over. The 46 just takes several hard hits. Mertz gets hit one more time. Lots of good cars taken in this one. Over half the field involved in this one. There's 22 cars left on track after that. And it's just under half the field, actually. But on the restart, lots of lap cars, obviously, and tail end cars. Alex Jates is your leader as he tries to get around this lap traffic. He's got Ricardo Blanco behind him. Ross Lowry is third place in the number 44. Here comes Blanco on lap 56. The Miami winner is going to look underneath the Buffalo Wild Wings Ford and take that spot away. Down into 3, it looks like Blanco's got this fairly easily, and he will clear the 1 car off turn number 4 and lead his first lap of the race. And it looks like 1 lap later, Alex Yates decides he wants to lead back. He gave Ricardo his 5 bonus points for leading a lap, and the 1 car will go back to the lead in front of the number 08. Couple laps later, though, the 08 wants some more down to the inside of the 1. These two having a great battle at the front. Jade's actually complaining that the 08 should stay behind them so they can pull away from the field even more, as this was allowing third place Will Legge and Carson Crompton. They were battling for that spot to catch these guys slowly but surely, but the 08 definitely not making Alex Yates a happy camper. As you see right here, Yates is going to pull the crossover on the 08 and take the top spot right back. So it was some great battling for the lead, and they would continue like this for quite a few laps, just going back and forth. And right here, Alex Yates clears the 08 and continues to lead in his number 1 machine. Here we go again, lap 78. This is about 10 laps later. Ricardo Blanco once again looking to the inside of the 1 car, and he will take the lead in turn number 3 underneath the Buffalo Wild Wings Ford. And Ricardo Blanco has had a very good year this year, up there in the top 20 in the point standings, so definitely a good point stay so far for him, and hopefully for his sake he can keep it going. Unsure if he's going to be returning next year in the AARS, so this may be a last hurrah for him for Op Inc. That team may be closing down, not quite sure as of yet, but here we go once again with the 1 car taking the lead. So there's that. Intense battle for the lead, and once again Alex Yates just not very happy with Ricardo Blanco. Lap 83, Kent Grosso is going to lose the engine on his Chevrolet, and he's going to bring it down to the garage area and retire. That's another car who's going to drop out of this one. And tough break for Kent Grosso, who's had a very solid season in the number 6. Unsure if he's returning to that ride next year, but based on previous performance, it's pretty safe to say that he will be in the season or in the series next year. Here we go with more lead changes, this time involving lap traffic, including Emma Trout and Brad Curtis in the number 12, as these guys just continue to battle. We can see the guys in 3rd on back just a bit behind, and they're continuing to battle as well. So that's not helping their case whatsoever, but here we go with Alex Yates once again behind the 08, looking to capitalize on the 87, holding them up. That's Casey Lester. Remember, he was involved in the lap 1 incident. And Yates is going to go to the inside of Ricardo Blanco once again and take the lead. So lots of lead changes here. Greg Sauer and Sean Glosson are going to get hooked together, and into the inside wall goes Sauer on lap 87, and the 24 slides up the racetrack for our 5th caution of the race. Sean Glosson also involved. He was in the top 5. Really tough break for him, and Sarah Woods just plows into the 24. No brakes used whatsoever, and then Keith Davis is going to fly in there as well. Not quite sure what that was about, but Sarah Woods just did not use the brake whatsoever and pile drove the number 24, flipping the 24 up and over, and the 33 comes to rest on all fours and then gets slammed into by Keith Davis. So that would take all of them out of the race. Sean Glosson would continue on. Let's go on board him, as right here he just gets hooked to the 24. Was a bit slower off the corner, obviously because he's a lap car without the hood, and the 9 slides down the back straightaway. Would come in for 4 fresh Goodyears, but would not hold his 4th position in the running orders. We see the 88 just coming in there, hitting the 33. Under this yellow, we'd have pit stops. This would be very beneficial for the top guys. Green flag pit stops were right around the corner, so this would save them some time, and the 1 car would come into the pits and get his service done and be out in the lead coming off of pit road. And right there you see Kenny Gerald, his team owner, restarting in 2nd on lap 91. Unsure really how he got to 2nd, because I did not see him get out in front of Ricardo Blanco from the pits. But oh well, Kenny Gerald is in 2nd. So KGI 1-2, their other driver Jared Cash retired earlier, involved in one of the early accidents, as Kenny Gerald looks to the inside of the 1, and he will take the lead away. Our pole sitter, we've only had 1 pole winner get the race win as well, and Kenny Gerald is looking to make him the second of the season. So we'll see if he can do that. However, Ricardo Blanco looks like he's going to spoil the party, the one car falling back to fourth. Blanco once again to the lead, and he puts his Dodge to the point. He see the 38 of Nick Black is in third, Chad Lipinski fourth. Carson Crompton has worked his way to fifth, Jate sixth, and Oppenheimer seventh. And on lap 97, we'd see some more battling for the lead as Nick Black's going to take his chance at the lead. He's led in the past 3 or 4 races, so Nick Black hasn't really had the finishes that he would probably like. He's only won 1 of those races, but Nick Black has been a force to reckon with every single one of these past 4 events, and he puts his M&M's Volkswagen to the top of the running order and takes Kenny Gerald's in the 14 with him. To the inside goes the 14 Holiday Inn Ford, and he will pass Ricardo Blanco for second. Gerald's once again to the lead as he passes Nick Black here just a couple of laps later, and the 08 follows once again. So, and they catch Casey Lester, and that's going to allow Ricardo Blanco to get a pretty big lead. Mike Oppenheimer is going to slot into third behind Gerald's, maybe look under him. Will Legge fourth and Chad Lipinski fifth, so that's 2 of the Avoda cars fourth and fifth, and then Ross Lowry having a nice run in sixth. He's had a nice couple of weeks in the past couple of races. Here's Will Legge, who's going to close in on the 08. Legge has had a pretty bad season by his standards. His rookie season will remain his best of his career so far, finishing third in the point standings and getting a couple of victories. He's still looking for that first win this season, and he's not gone any season without a win. And on lap 106, he will take the lead away from Ricardo Blanco, searching for that first win, and maybe it can happen here at Charlotte. Point leader Michael Carter is currently running in the 9th position in his number 39. Been very quiet this one, but the more points he can gain, the better. And with DeCario out and a couple of the other points contenders struggling, this could be a huge points day for him if he just stays where he is. Kenny Gerald's back underneath the 15 late in this one, and Gerald's definitely looks like he has the car to beat right now. Here's Casey Lester holding up Will Legge, and Legge had just caught the 14 once again, and Nick Black is into him, and we have a wreck in the fourth corner. And on lap 121, it collects some very good cars. Nick Black and Will Legge both involved, and I have to put the blame on Black for that one, as Lester just, he had nothing else to do but hold up the top lane, and Black just looked like he came up into him, much like Jerry Richardson did last week in the final laps at Bristol. And what a tough break for Will Legge as he brings the number 15 down into the pits. He will retire, so another one out of the race here at Charlotte. As you see, there are just not many cars left. Lap 125, we'd have another restart. Gerald's leading, and he leads it down into turn number 1. Jonathan Ringer and Carson Crompton behind him, and the 14 drives it off turn number 2 and pulls out a pretty big lead. He would take the white flag after just completely cruising away, checking out from the field. Carson Crompton trying to get back up there. He's been the only one who can catch him this whole run, but Kenny Gerald started from the pole, has had a very quiet race until the end here, worked his way back up, and is now in the lead and has 2 more corners before he takes his first win of the season. Kenny Gerald's retiring after this season, so this could be a great farewell to him. And he comes off turn number 4, and the Holiday Inn Ford will visit victory lane once again. Kenny Gerald is the winner of the BB&T 250 here at Charlotte, and he does his old school victory lap. No burnouts from Kenny Gerald, and the veteran definitely showing why he is a veteran, just doing a simple victory lap, and we'll pull it into victory lane here at Charlotte. Gerald's takes his first win of the year. He started from the pole. He finishes at the top position as well. The second driver to do that this season. Great job from that team here at Charlotte. Carson Crompton will finish second in the number 84. Alex Jates will finish third after a pretty convincing race from him. He probably had the best car. Unfortunately, didn't win. I guess it's a consolation prize that his teammate won, but Jates obviously not too thrilled with finishing third. He felt like he deserved the first place finish. Chad Lipinski finishes fourth. Michael Carter snuck into the top 5, and our points leader is going to have a massive point lead after this one. Great run from Michael Carter. Mike Oppenheimer finishes 6th. Great run from him. He'll move up to 2nd in the point standings. Ross Lowry 7th. Great run from him. Tori Webler finishes 8th.
a fantastic run for him, and it's great to see him up there. Brad Simmons, a great run for him as well. He finishes 9th, and Todd Kinsen finishes in the 10th position. He's been having a surge of momentum as of late, and he'll come home with another top 10. So Michael Carter is the point leader. Like I said, a huge point lead for him. 182 points over Mike Oppenheimer in second. I'm expecting that to shrink at Road America, which is the next official points race. Carson Crumpton is third. Jade's fourth. Glossum is fifth. DiCario falls all the way to sixth. 233 back. Can't imagine he's too happy with that. Black is seventh. He was just in fifth. So that wreck at the end there really took a hit on his points day. Sure, he could have finished a lot better. He could be up there in the point standings, contending with Crompton and Oppenheimer for that second position. Jonathan Ringer is 8th in the standings. He falls back a couple of positions. Tyler Diefer is back to 9th in the standings in that number 20. Cohone is 10th in the standings after Charlotte. He had a really bad race. Falls 2 spots from 8, so we'll see who can rebound after this one. But the points battle is definitely looking less interesting after Charlotte, and well, that's that. Next week we go to Ocala for a non-points race, and this will be the ARS All-Star event, and it will be a full coverage event, so stay tuned. There's a ton of racing coming up, and it should be a great race at Ocala.